Okay, so let's get going here. So let's take a look at the ways in which Path of Exile 2 was developed over the course of its lifespan and proceeded to commit, I think, quite a few failures in its development process. Most of the focus, or at least a significant amount, in the updates, the hot fixes, the patches, the energy of the development company was positioned towards balancing changes, towards not adding new content, but adjusting the content that was already in there. Not necessarily even fixing it or making it better, just changing it, essentially going around in circles and not really going anywhere with that circular process, but merely just staying in the same spot over and over and over and over and over again, and not really adding new content, just taking a circle and changing its numbers, making those numbers bigger, making those numbers smaller, whether that circle represents a skill, like a damage dealing ability or whatever it might be. And so I think that in and of itself lends its development failure to just, every aspect of the game. Because, right, if you make this, you didn't make this, right? And if you've already made this and you haven't yet added this to the game, all the players have are a bunch of these, and they don't get to do anything else, right? You don't get to have another playable character, another weapon to play with, or a category of weapons like all the swords or all the whatever it is, right? To enjoy all the unique versions, the common versions, whatever it might be, and all the abilities that are associated with that, because that is how Path of Exile 2 works. And so within that kind of conversation, you have the evidence, which we can show here in a spreadsheet, which might make people's eyes go cross, but let's just zoom it out here so we don't actually have to think about the numbers, right? Because they don't really matter, right? These are the links to the actual notes of the patches, but we can see these intervals here, right? We can see, this aspect here and this aspect here representing 1 month of time. And every time we have a month pass, we can see the number of updates that occurred within that month. Now, what I want to show, because this is the launch of the game at the top here, this is the end of the life cycle, right? You can see how the intervals have greatly decreased. There's a 1 update a month. This is what it looks like when the developers are adding new content to the game, because at this point in time, we are at present day, and at present day, they announced that in December 1.0 will be coming, that the game will be getting its launch final version. But all this time before, we can clearly see they were doing other things. They were not finishing the game. They were adding content intermittently and tweaking content constantly. And now, right, they aren't tweaking anything anymore. They aren't doing balance changes. They aren't doing, continuous, seasonal tweaks or updates. They're finishing the game. That's what that looks like. All of this, that's just a waste of time. So, let's get into it here. We will get back to the conversation per update as we had in prior videos and get started. So, 1.0 Echo hotfix 1. What did we have for that? We had a couple bug fixes. Now, what's interesting about this last one here is we can see we have buffed base minion critical damage bonus, and this will display incorrectly in the character panel. So if you didn't actually read these patch notes, and you could be forgiven for missing a little hotfix, we wouldn't know this, and you would think the game is broken. You would think it's displaying incorrectly, there's a bug, and then you would report it. So they're creating more problems, even if you don't report it. You just, you have the perception. Creating more problems again. So we have, at least in my opinion, this is a neutral update, even though on paper it is a good bug fix. It is unfortunately hampered by that last one there, which makes things, in my opinion, very unfortunate and very disappointing, because they didn't have to do that, right? They chose yet again. And I'm not saying, again, I won't say that these are equal, because you can do a lot of this, right? And it will equal this. But I'm not saying that one of these equals one of these, because a little balance change, little number tweak, little whatever does not equal a new playable class. But all of it together, all the people at the studio, all the efforts, all the tasks, all the meetings, everything does add up over time. And we are still, if you want to be charitable, 50-50. And that's just, in my opinion, completely preventable. That did not need to be the case. So, moving right along, hotfix 2. You're good. you're bad. And bug fixes will remain unchanged because honestly, this mess has already gotten so far out of hand. I am not going to fix it in terms of adding in all the individual updates as they go. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. Let's just say those are the list of the updates. This is the list of the patches. So to the next one here, instance crash and fixed a bug. These are good. These are good fixes. This is lasting change that will improve the game from now and forever. Bug fixes usually are good. The caveat to that is like this one where the bug fix presents problems or they are circling again, the same situation where it's like they've got a bug and that bug is only there, right? The only reason it's in the game is because they added something that wasn't finished, right? They added a feature or a bit of content like the minion damage, and then that bug now presents more problems down the line, right? It does not actively, make their lives any easier. It just kind of circles the drain of issues over and over and over. You're now endlessly fixing bugs when the content or the aspect of the content needed not be added in a state that would present that kind of issue or whatever it might be given the situation. So if we look here, changes, we're coming up on Christmas break now. Honestly, very charitable with Christmas break. I mean, there's no reason to discount, the developers are taking Christmas break. So we had the launch of the game and then basically hot fixes, few updates, and we go on Christmas break. Cool. So that's why there's this big time jump. So we go from December 19th, the next thing we see is January 2nd. So you get back in the office, they get back to work, and I'm sure some people, worked over the holidays. Wait. Volcanic. Why are you removing content? We may not ever know why this happened. We may have had this explained in a PR interview or an armchair sit down or whatever kind of conversation. But let's say that we do know why. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe I didn't see that, and there's a reason for this. Maybe it presented bugs. Maybe it was being reworked. Whatever it is. Why are you removing content? If it's a bug, that's fine, right? Or at least it's understandable. It may still be debatable whether or not it's fine or not. That is a real shame. Player skill changes. Yikes. I would say that's probably the worst one. Yeah, that's just heinous. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen them remove content like that. I've seen them change content, go around in circles, right? But this isn't changing content. This is erasing content. That's just, geez. I mean, if that's what you want to spend your time doing, then I can't imagine the last thing you do before Christmas break is take this away. Okay. Anyway, so we have come out of Christmas. We're in the new year. We got some more hotfixes. Let's take a look. See what we got. You no longer use the instance manager to create multiple instances of the Trial of Secamus. I don't know about this one. I think it's general changes. Okay, let's talk about it. Why is this bad? Your game isn't finished. You have half the content. It's a month and a half after launch, and instead of doing anything to support the generation of new content or provide any sort of as we discussed, you are making the choice between this, and instead of doing either one, you're doing this. I'd rather you do balance changes. I really would. Now, again, if this presents an error or a bug or an unintended whatever, that's fine. That's one thing. But if you're just removing content, I can't even begin to tell you how unfortunate that is, especially since this content seems to be a way you interact with the game and are able to experience the content. In this stage of the game, you would want more experience with the content. So I don't know enough about that to make a full judgment call, but from just the outset, that is my thing. This was a huge one. I remember when they did this. This was massive. They also changed Chaos Inoculation quite a bit over the course of the game. CI has been, a hallmark of attention, and so I am glad to see that was addressed. Okay, move right along here to the next one. Okay, client crash, good. Visual bug, good. Yes, these are all good. This is what I want to see. Everything to do with this and nothing to do with let's tweak the numbers because we don't feel that they're doing enough damage or that they're doing too much damage and suddenly we need to just balance everything in an incomplete half-baked game. Not a fan. Okay, the next one here. All right, so we got a patch. Let's take a look here. client crash, bugs, more bugs. Perfect. Okay, so this patch right here is what I would say, yeah, we're on good terms here, right? This is what we want to see. Every single update, launch, hotfix patch should be focusing on fixing the bugs that are present in the game, whether they be instance crashes or skills not doing what they're supposed to do. It should not be removing content. It should not be changing that content, tweaking numbers, adding multipliers, whatever. And they should be focused on adding content. You have I think we were at, what were we at? I think I said we were at like 53%, 54% of a finished game. Even if you're just doing this, that's okay. Make this work as well as it can. Don't make this the way that you think it should be working. And what I mean by that is, you've got number changes, you've got, percentage changes, you've got a bunch of other stuff that doesn't make the game work better. It doesn't make the game launch, run, stay running better. All this does is it just says, yeah, we know that the game is doing what we coded it to do, but we want to tweak the individual number values of a a slam ability because it was doing too much damage. It's like you're missing the whole point of the problem, which is always going to come back to an incomplete game. The game isn't finished yet. That's the glaring elephant in the room. You have a half-baked pie, and again, you're messing with the icing. Forget the icing, It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't make the game better. It doesn't add content. The player can't play a new character, you wield a new weapon when you're not, adding the content and doing stuff like this. This is good. We love this stuff. This is important. I'd love to see some more content, but that's okay. Alrighty, and with that, we have come to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for sticking around, watching. Yeah, what do they always say? Like the video or dislike it. If you agree or disagree, let me know why in the comments. This video is going to take quite a while to finish, and will be definitely broken up into many parts, so make sure to check out the other ones if you haven't already. Let's see, what else? I theoretically have a Twitter. I will theoretically be streaming at some point. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, Aramorian, signing off.